Yeah, he was a voice. I mean, Clapton was like, he was the one playing, like with that intensity and the volume and the sustain and everything, and really just that authoritative approach. When I would go see people play, and I really enjoyed it, I'd be like, oh man, I gotta go home and pick up my guitar and play their record. I'd just be excited. I just want to do the same thing.
Nice, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
So let's start with this guitar, man. This looks like it's been through the ringer a little bit, but it's still looking good. You know what I mean?
This is called the MB Stratocaster because a great friend of mine helped me get this guitar a while ago. Yeah. So it's called MB, short for Mary Beth.
Wow. That's a good name for a guitar. And is this the one you're using on tour at the moment?
Well, yes, on this current tour, I'm using this guitar as well as an 80s Japanese Squire Strat that was just the same color as my big brother's guitar I learned how to play on.
Yeah, because
between those two,
your family was a big thing for you with learning guitar, and
my older brother Walter was the one who got me started playing guitar. I looked up to him, and he was the one that showed me about everything, George Benson, Jimi Hendrix, B.B. King, everybody. And took me to my first blues concert in 1988. Albert Collins.
Hey, that's the year I was born.
Wow.
So
making me feel old.
Yeah, man. I shouldn't have said that, should I? So.
No, it's okay. I'm proud of these gray hairs.
And is it always been the blues for you with playing?
Well, it really, I think about this more the older I get, actually. It's like, my family is from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Yeah. So they would tell me about all of these guys that they danced to as kids, like Muddy Waters and Lowell Folsom and Bobby Bland and all these people. And I was just fascinated by it, really. And it just, for some reason, it just registered with me and what I wanted to do ever since a little kid. So.
And how would you, like for me, when I was growing up and getting into music, I remember you're gonna laugh, but the kind of way I discovered the blues was through the Simpsons. They did this Simpsons Do's the Blues album, but it was all kind of like jailhouse, really down, morose. And the more you explore it, they're so far and wide. So for the if I think of the blues, what's the one major? Is there one major thing you think with the blues, or is?
Well, for me, blues and soul and earthy type things, just like the soil, the rich, deep, heartfelt things, and being honest and real and true, and all of those things mean the same thing to me as blues. So blues and soul, grounding foundation to everything else is sort of like what I think of blues. So for me, like, it's just the language. It's like, 101 for everything, life and how
whether
everything
you're happy,
goes.
sad,
or because you can dance. There's blues to dance to, and everything. And people used to dance to blues, and I want people to start dancing again.
It's all just standing at the back going like this. Whenever I go to a concert, I'm guilty. I'm a bit of a metalhead, and I'm always. Little headbang. Yeah. When I blues, I'll go to a blues. I promise, I'll go to a blues concert this year, and I will dance just for you.
Go to the Kirk Fletcher blues concert.
Yeah. Always, it's the man. And obviously, you talked about kind of the influences you're growing up, but are there major blues players that you were as you were growing up that you not just through people telling you. Listen to this, listen to that. My dad was always Zeppelin and Sabbath, but for yourself, were there players you discovered that?
Well, for me, my older brother was kind of put it all out there. Yeah. All the records, and I could kind of choose for myself what I like. And I will say, in addition to the blues, I was listening to the stuff that was current, like Michael Jackson, Prince, and funk music, and all that, and that. It's definitely in there. Plus, I got the big gospel influence too, so it all just kind of,
it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah,
And
but the blues was always, because it's so much about the guitar and communication. And
well, there's
all
something
that stuff.
pure with the blues,
Yeah.
the blues, and like you look at kind of growing up, I mentioned Zeppelin, but obviously Zeppelin's so infused with blues playing. It's like some of the solos as well, like. So it's everywhere, really, isn't it? It's kind of for me, it's like one of the original genres, all the way back from kind of Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, and stuff, and that history with blues is that that's something I know you're keen on. You're a fan of Honey Blues.
Really into.
You could school everyone. I think.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
So we kind of thought we could kind of put you to a little bit of a test. So if I, off camera we were speaking before and I was kind of talking about this, but I mentioned Muddy Waters and I said, well, like kind of the basic playing of Muddy Waters, and you were like, well. So,
I mean, like Muddy Waters. I mean, like one of the things I think of when I think of Muddy Waters is like. Something sort of like that,
Just a little bit like that.
I don't have a slide or anything, and I
No.
can't play a slide good, but that was just like a little bit of the Muddy thing that I love so much. A little part of it, but it goes back even farther than that amplified thing, and he played, kind of more stripped down acoustic style blues too, in his very wonderful career.
Well, that's the thing, because like for me, you as a as a metal and rock fan, you kind of you kind of start it at like the 70s kind of thing, but it's so needed all that before.
And it goes back to the 40s too. I mean, Muddy was an institution.
And then after that, so moving forward, so if we go to say kind of Clapton was probably one of the ones that kind of moved it into a kind of rock rock thing.
Yeah, he was a voice. I mean, Clapton was like. He was the one playing, like with that intensity and the volume and the sustain and everything, and really just that authoritative approach that just swept over the world of guitar playing,
And then I suppose other kind of players similar kind of times be like Stevie Ray Vaughan, which you touched on with is it the first track on your second album?
My Turn? El Medio Stomp, yeah.
So that's got that real rhythm to it, isn't it? And is rhythm a big part of your playing, would you say?
It's pretty much more important than lead is the rhythm, because if I didn't have the rhythm and that rhythmic type approach, it would be, I don't think my thing would work too well, because it would just be a bunch of licks.
Which is great,
which is cool, but for what I want to do and what I want to hear, it's like the rhythmic part, how you swing a phrase, or how you play it straight, or how you play it louder.
So what do you mean like that, with playing a phrase straight and swinging it? Like,
I don't know if I can do that, but I'll try.
Let's see.
Like you take something like El Medio Stomp, sort of, this approach is sort of a Stevie Ray Vaughan, it's more of a kind of a, it's sort of like more muting, like. That kind of sounded more like Jimi Hendrix a little bit, but
well, it was nice.
But that's a little bit of it. And then playing more of a swing approach, would be like just a different.
feel it kind of
a little more floaty.
Yeah.
A little more...
And obviously, I've just put you on the spot there, so sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
To improvise, which is kind of what we're about here at JTC.
Especially in this new course I have.
Yeah, which we will get to. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. So when you're approaching improv, like, has that changed over the years, and in a big way?
Yeah, absolutely. Because like, when you're young, you try and like learn all of the, you're basically learning. You're going to school. You're learning like you're taking this from B.B. King, Albert King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, and all these people. And hopefully somewhere along the line, your own thing comes through. And
when did you think you found that? When your thing?
Well,
like, I'm right. Hang on, I've got it. I'm Kirk Fletcher.
I think it started really, because I went through a whole thing where I got rid of every record except blues and traditional blues and all that, and I think that was really good for me, so I could have some kind of foundation. And I kind of, when I played with, I had already went through all that, and then I played with Charlie Musselwhite, and that was like, the Charlie Musselwhite gig was like, he wanted you to play like yourself and come on, bring it, so that just kind of made me, put me on my tippy toes. I was like, like, oh man, I got to go around again. I got to just come and play something. I can't just play what I hear off records or whatever. I play in a certain style. I got to kind of just, try and be as soulful as I can and try and come up with my own thing, kind of. So that was the beginning of it way back then.
I suppose that soulful thing is probably the gospel kind of thing coming back in the earth you said about that's really coming in. And with the you mentioned learning there, so obviously you've been in the game a little while now, and still learning, and like I saw you with the solos you do now, which we'll get to, and even with the improvisation, you're playing like picking in different parts of the guitar, and are these tricks that you've picked up over time, and you're still learning now, and with the singing, which is one touch, because that's a newer thing, and we were talking about the Carpenters earlier, and is it listening to kind of different stuff that's helped you with the singing style?
Well, yeah, just Karen Carpenter's approach, like singing quiet, and just like breathy and really in tune and just straight ahead, just singing really melodically and
I'm not
phrasing.
going to ask you to sing on the spot, no. Can you just bash out your favourite Carpenters?
Yeah, right? I mean, I think now it's more of, I play kind of, it took me all this time, however long I've been playing, 30 years or whatever. It took all this time to kind of weed out all the stuff that I don't like, and now I'm at a point where I pretty much play mostly what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Not that I can play everything that I hear. I play what I want to hear out of all the stuff that I used to play, hopefully, and I just kind of keyed in on certain things,
It's a bit like a recipe, I suppose. You throw all these different spices in, and eventually like,
I don't know about that.
I don't need the celery. No one needs celery, so take that out. And has the singing impacted on your playing? Like, obviously, when you're live, you kind of have to strip it back in places.
Well, the whole writing songs has been a whole revelation for me, too, because the writing the songs, you kind of want to write a really good song, or as best you can, and put a solo inside a good song. And that's the way I've always really liked it, a solo inside a good song instead of just a solo, and you put a song around it.
Yeah. There's a difference between, there's a real skill with writing a song.
Then like blues, you kind of need to really try and write a good song, because it's a little bit more direct, and you don't have a lot to, lyrical content and stuff. If you have too much lyrical content and take it too far out, then it's like something else with like bluesy music with it, So to stay inside the genre, I think there's limits, but those limits are cool.
Yeah, well, because
I like those limits.
They will put you in a certain
and that's fun.
So
it's
obviously,
like a challenge.
I'm not going to challenge anyone. So we should now get to why you are here. You're on tour at the moment.
I'm on tour.
On tour. I'm not sure when this is going to go out, so look up Kirk's dates and go and see.
Yeah.
I've seen Kirk play a lot today, and just very, very good. So, and obviously you've got a new record on the way.
Yeah, it should be out sometime during the summer.
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah, hopefully it'll go out this year. So.
This year.
Yeah. And you're at JTC, so we've been doing, well, do you want to tell us what we've been doing today? We've been covering some improvisation bits and bobs. And
yeah, we've taken like 3 tracks each of these different lessons. Yeah. And I'm soloing over it and then doing like 30 of my signature little phrases or licks or what have you, you know. And it's been really cool because that's really where I think that's the strongest thing that I can do is kind of just give me something. Because that's what I spent the most time doing, like on the bandstand, being thrown into the, you know, fire, on the spot. So that's kind of my favorite thing. So I think it's cool, you know, that I get a chance to kind of like maybe break down some of the ideas is very natural and comfortable for me, you know, and fun.
And it was brilliant to watch because it's just to see, like, basically it was like, all right, Kirk, here's the track. He's like, yeah, cool. Fire on.
But that, you know, that's where I spent most of my time.
It's so cool. You know? Like I jam. I jam with friends, but I'm playing drums most of the time. And then when I am playing guitar, I'll play like, you know, 4 chords and then hopefully that'll work
on drums you could improvise too. Everybody will be mad at you. No,
but with the guitar, I think to just listen to it and to go. So we should say we'll put a link in the description for all the Kirk stuff, JTC, because Let's Get Started was
Let's Get Started.
Let's Get Started before.
Yeah. And
I have to say, with Let's Get Started, when I've watched that, there's always the kind of smile at the end, and I think enjoying music. How important is that?
That's what I, you know, try and say all the time. I try and say I just want to make people excited about music.
Yeah.
You know, not again, but just excited about music, you know, like, because I used to, when I would go see people play, you know, and I really enjoyed it, I'd be like, oh, man, I got to go home and pick up my guitar and play their record. I'd just be excited. I just want to do the same thing, you know.
Because it's the answer music for me. It doesn't matter what you listen to. It's the answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just brilliant. So, again, thanks, Kirk, for coming by. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Please make sure you check out all of Kirk's stuff in the description, and make sure you subscribe, please. There's that bell. Please hit the bell, because then you'll get... I don't know where
somewhere around here.
Somewhere, just do that. Maybe we'll animate something here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to play us out, Kirk.
Sure.
That would be fantastic. Kirk Fletcher.
Thank you so much.